Things have taken a major turn. One of the big concerns that have come from the first 2 weeks of the Buccaneers resurfaced again in week 3 and has now become a major worry for things that are coming up, games that are coming up, and specific teams that are coming up that the Buccaneers are going to have to deal with. I'm Sebastian from Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, everybody. This is a topic that everyone really kind of wants to discuss because everyone's a little bit more concerned about it. Obviously, injuries. The Bucs have a lot of injuries that have stacked on top of each other, but we're also getting reinforcements. We're getting guys back pretty soon. The Bucs have their plans to deal with a lot of these things, and luckily at receiver we have a lot of depth there. But regarding this specific area of the team, it's a little less clear, a little bit more complicated, but it is explainable. And we're going to dig right into it today. Make sure to subscribe because we're just going to be doing all kinds of deep dives into a lot of these subjects with the Buccaneers. We'll do live streams. We've got all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to have a post coming up soon about memberships. We're going to be doing memberships for this channel where you'll be doing, you'll be getting your own membership related videos, emojis, like statuses, all that kind of stuff, and reacts. You'll get prioritized in the live streams and all that good stuff. So anyway, that'll be coming up soon. But let's just jump right into the topic because it's a big deal for a lot of us right now because it's become a consistent problem, a consistent thing that's really challenged the Buccaneers and made the games closer than they should have been. And that is the special teams. The special teams just punting, kicking, whether it's missed kicks, blocked punts, all over the place. It's a bit of a worry. And considering we're going up against the Eagles, who just won a game off of a blocked kick, you could say that folks are going to be looking to, they'll be trying to do that again against us, and we do not want to have to deal with it once again for a fourth week in a row. But let's dig into this. Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report had to say, outside of a big punt return by Cam Johnson in week 1 and a few solid kickoff returns by Sean Tucker, the Bucs special teams has been less than special this year. And that's been a surprise coming out of training camp and the preseason, where kicker Chase McLaughlin and new punter Riley Dixon were believed to be a team strength heading into the regular season. And then he continues on to say, things took a turn for the worse in Week 2 in Houston on Monday Night Football when the Texans blocked a punt deep inside Tampa Bay territory. Adding insult to injury, rookie Jalen Noel returned a punt 53 yards against Tampa Bay, despite the refs picking up the flag after an obvious block in the back penalty. The adventure on special teams continued last week with the chance for Tampa Bay to increase its lead to 9 points late in the fourth quarter with a fifth field goal attempt from Chase McLaughlin, but Will McDonald IV leaped over the line and blocked the field goal and returned it for a touchdown. It doesn't help that the Bucs play the Eagles this week, as Philadelphia is coming off a come-from-behind win over the Rams thanks to a pair of blocked field goals from massive defensive tackle Jordan Davis in the second half. Now, I know that was a mouthful, but it's worth kind of noting what's been going on here. We went into the regular season thinking, oh my gosh, we fixed the special teams. We could never get both of them on the same page. If the kicking was good, the punting wouldn't be good. If the punting was good, the kicking wouldn't be good. And it felt like we were going into this season where both of those problems would be solved and would be fixed. And then Chase started getting the yips. We were getting blocked kicks and blocked punts. And it's gotten really frustrating. And there's been some returns as well. So it feels like we just need to get on the same page. That the special team coverage team needs to be there, the blocking needs to be there. Now, some of that can be attributed to the fact that our offensive line has been reshuffling quite a bit, and that doesn't go just for the regular offensive line on offense. When you have that many offensive linemen who are down, a lot of them will be doing blocking on field goals, on punts. And if you don't have those guys available, it's going to increase the chances that they won't that the other team will be able to block something and get through quicker. So that's also worth noting. But at the same time, now that it's become a consistent problem and a consistent area for other teams to get themselves back into games against Tampa, it has to be a thing of priority this week, especially when we just saw the Eagles block 2 field goals and returned one for a touchdown. We do not need that happening again in our own house. We need to make sure that if we get Wirfs back, that he is there to help on all things special teams, and it's just one of those things that we have to be very wary about, and I'm sure that they are planning for it. But Chase McLaughlin had some very positive words after the Jets game. He said, "If you make or miss the kick before, it doesn't affect the next kick, positive or negative. It's always like next play up mentality." And I really do appreciate this mentality that he has taken, because I think a lot of us were worried going into Game 3 against the Jets. We were thinking, oh, what if we should probably bring in some kicking competition because he's missed a couple short yardage chip shots for kicking, whether it's extra points or just short field goals. It was not looking good, especially in the Falcons and Texans game. Things were looking a bit scary there. But now, in this Jets game, he hit several 50-plus yarder field goals. He hit the game winner. The only missed field goal was the block, which I wouldn't even call his fault. That was just on the offensive line not being able to hold up, and Will McDonald being able to jump over the offensive line to get the block. Now, you could also argue that while that was all going on, that they were stepping on and using the Buccaneers offensive line as leverage. And that could have been a penalty that was called. It's been called in other games this season, but was not called in this game. So it's just one of those things that the refs were not on our side in that game, and we still managed to come out with the win. So that's just, again, resiliency. These guys are tough. They don't let anything get them down. They don't let the kicking woes get them down. They don't let we don't really turn it over, but we don't let the fact that this team was able to come back on us despite having a backup quarterback, despite us running the creamsicles. All these things that could be curses, that could be seen as, here we go again. The Bucs are better than that. They know how to win, and they've learned how to win close games. And so that's just really what's very, very clutch, and we all love about these guys. And then Scott Smith, Buccaneers senior writer and editor, had to say, Todd Bowles noted on Monday that all of the offensive line shuffling the Buccaneers have had to do in response to injuries has also had an effect on special teams, where lineups have been altered multiple times as well. Given that all three of the Buccaneers' first three games have come down to score in the last game's final minute, the ability to get off a clean field goal or extra point operation could prove to be crucial. And that's just kind of emphasizing what we've been talking about as just something of emphasis for the Buccaneers this upcoming season, or just this upcoming week in particular, as we try and work to get back some of our offensive linemen. Gadecki will be coming back later. Wirfs might be coming back this week or next week. So it's just one of these things that we have to, the reshuffling. These guys aren't, premier offensive linemen. There's a reason why, we picked them off of other teams' practice squads and had to elevate them, when we'd sign them all over the place. It was a completely, new line, basically. We had two starters still in Graham Barton and Ben Bredesen, but they weren't in their original positions, and it was just a mess. And especially in the first half, it was holding penalties everywhere. Even if they were ticky-tacky, as Baker Mayfield was saying, it's just they were struggling because these guys were just put together. And the fact that we won that game is a testament to just them pushing through, even with the refs being as bad as they were. It didn't matter; they were still able to get over the hump. But yeah, this comes down to now. Okay. The kicking woes, at least last week, that Chase seemed to figure that out, and then now it's like a blocking problem. We had a blocked punt in week 2, a blocked kick in week 3. We do not need another blocked whatever in week 4. We need to be able to make that a goal of the team, that whatever we're doing, if we're going on special teams, we need to limit the mistakes. We need to limit the Eagles to not taking advantage of any of these situations, or whether that means reshuffling the line again or even more, or just emphasizing the strength that they have at the front of the line and being able to get through the trenches quickly to block kicks. We can't allow that to happen. We know they can do it. We know they can do it on several occasions. It wasn't just luck. They did it twice in one game. So that means it has to be better on our side, and we have to rise to the occasion. The Eagles are winning games constantly. I think they're 17-0 in the last 17 games that Jalen Hurts has started. So they don't lose very often. We know how to win. They know how to win. It's going to be an NFC showdown that really takes it to the limit. And we are lucky because Todd Bowles has had a lot of success against Jalen Hurts in the past. dialing up really good defensive game plans for him. But the Eagles know this as well, and they're going to use it as motivation. And we have to make sure that we keep the pressure on, and we keep them guessing, and we take care of our mistakes and acknowledge where our holes are and be able to, fix them and plug them up and all that good stuff. And this also I want to bring up is, punting wise, how are we doing this year so far? I mean, I know this is a bit of a small text, but Riley Dixon is all the way down at 17, so we're around just average for punt yards that he's averaging. It's 47.7. The top punter is the Bengals punter, who has 54-yard averages. So listen, we talked about before in the season that as long as we're getting above the 40-yard range, that's good. But the fact that we're above 45 in general is a huge boost, because we were back, it was like 37 or 38 yards averaging last year. It was not good. It was not a good situation. So getting back to more like average punting yardage, that's all we could really ask for. We might need a bit more though out of him. But the thing is, when you don't have as much time to block for your punter, it doesn't create as smooth of a transition for Riley. A lot of people have talked about the fact that he has a long windup to get to through his punting motions, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe he has to learn how to kick faster. And maybe that's something that I need to emphasize with him in practice. But at the same time, our guys got to be able to hold up. If this is like the only way that he can punt, he is our starting punter, and we have to work around that. And that means emphasizing with the offensive line, guys, you got to hold up, because if we're trying to flip the field on the Eagles, and make them drive the field, we have to give our guy time to make sure he can launch this thing, and give our guys time to make it down the field to get to the ball, get to the punt returner, all that stuff. It's just one of those things. We have to make sure, because we cannot allow that these blocks to keep happening. I mean, it's we've been fortunate to make it out of these games. We're 3-0. We always have to be thankful for that. But at the same time, these issues will catch up with us if they continue. Eventually, teams will look at it as not just, oh, this is an area of weakness. This is a strength for them. This could be a place of vulnerability that they will continue to attack, because we can't fix it unless we do it now, unless we find a solution now. And they'll be working through all the kinds of things this year. We'll be getting offensive linemen in different positions. We'll be getting offensive linemen back, all that stuff. So it's just a matter of really finding what works, what is going to be the solution to this. And hopefully Tristan Wirfs is a big part of that solution. So in the end, that's kind of what I have for today. I want to ask you guys, what do you think is the solution to this problem? Do you think that it'll continue? Do you think that the Bucs are going to work on fixing it and find a way to get around this? Because the Eagles, they pose a big threat to our special teams once again, and we have to make sure that it's not their strength. It's something that that we can fix soon. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments, your concerns. Or if you're not concerned, if you think that this will be okay. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.